Hi, my name is Marguerite Reinisch. I'm an e-teacher for eCampus, which is the e-learning platform of the Service de la Formation des Adultes from the Ministère de l'Éducation nationale in Luxembourg. Now, we're quite frequently asked how eCampus actually works and why it's been so successful over the past 10 years. So in this video, I'll outline the cornerstones on which eCampus is based. First off, there's good content. Of course, the quality of the content is very important to an e-learner's success. We use Word and PDF documents, but also video and audio content, websites, and other resources, really depending on the requirements of each course. And then at the end of the course, e-learners take tests and exams in order to validate their learning and get the degrees and qualifications that they've been working for. This makes the learning process quite diverse, and it really puts the e-learner at the center of this process. E-learners work in a semi-autonomous way. Generally speaking, this means that they work their way through course content on their own with ad hoc assistance from their e-teacher as they go along. This process is then complemented by video conferences, by in-person meetings, but also by regular chats online. This in turn means that the teacher becomes more of a guide on the side. In a traditional classroom, the teacher is more of a sage on the stage. The teacher holds all the information and passes it on to students in small bite-sized chunks in every lesson. In e-learning, however, the teacher is more of a guide who assists the e-learner in the learning process. In order to make this work, e-teachers have to be available to e-learners, and they have to be able to react quickly when they get contacted, so that as e-learners work their way through course content, as soon as they come across a problem or something that isn't clear to them or something they need help with, they can get that help as quickly as possible. As a guide on the side, e-teachers often implement the idea of a flipped classroom. In a flipped classroom, e-learners have access to the entirety of the course content for as long as they are enrolled in a course. So first, an e-learner engages with the course content, starts working with it, starts working on assignments and even handing in assignments. And then the e-learner meets up or talks to the e-teacher or other e-learners in order to fill in the blanks, to answer additional questions, and to address any problem areas. The success of this kind of learning process, of course, depends on the technology use. The technology really needs to serve the learning process, and it shouldn't be an additional obstacle for the e-learner to deal with. In eCampus, we use an approach that we call Keep It Simply Smart. That means that we offer a learning platform with a functionality limited to the essentials of the learning process. We use Google Apps for Education for this purpose because they are very intuitive and they allow for ease of social interaction between e-learners and e-teachers. And finally, the last and most important cornerstone of eCampus is the absolute flexibility with which you can manage your workload. Both e-teachers and e-learners can work whenever and wherever they choose. While there are still times when e-teachers and e-learners need to be in the same place at the same time, like for written and oral exams, the vast majority of the learning process actually takes place in an asynchronous way. This doesn't actually hinder the learning process, it rather takes away from the traditional kind of schooling where the lives of students and teachers revolve around quite a rigid school structure. E-learning, on the other hand, can adapt to the lives of e-teachers and e-learners, and as such really optimizes the learning process. So these are the 6 basic tenets on which eCampus is founded and which so far have been very successful.